Every fella in America knows that cops simply will not chase motorcycles through a city street or on the freeway, especially when there's 10, 20, 30, 100 of them, as we've done stories on dozens of times on this channel and in my book and on my YouTube channel. The fellas all get together on dirt bikes, on four-wheelers, on motorcycles that are often stolen, often unregistered, often unlicensed, and they just kind of ram through a neighborhood, terrorizing anybody who's driving or walking or obeying the stop signs or the road signs. Everybody knows that. What sometimes people forget is that makes these devices, these motorcycles, these dirt bikes, these ATVs, very, very popular for lawbreakers, because if you're going to sell some drugs or go rob a store or do something or the other and you hop on your motorcycle, if you can get to your bike, that's a get out of jail free card. So every once in a while, everybody who has these bikes gets together and they have a big ride to celebrate their lawlessness. They just had one up in Boston where they actually caught a few of the people. Now, they've been doing that around my town for a long time, my town of Wilmington, Delaware. In the last couple of weeks, they've kind of come out of the woodwork, even in the neighborhood of good old Collin. And so let's watch what happened in Boston, and then we're going to take some tips from good old Collin's neighbors about what the cops really should be doing to change this situation.
This morning, several arrests made after chaos on 93 South leading to an officer-involved shooting.
That's right, and this was all happening while police were trying to stop this group. They say we're driving erratically right off of the roads and on these off-road vehicles. Our Cassie Arsenault joins us live in Boston with all the latest details. Cassie.
Good morning. Yeah, this new video that we obtained shows bikers scattering all over the highway trying to get away from police. Police tell us there was about 25 to 35 of these bikers on ATVs or off-roading bikes just driving erratically and dangerously all throughout the city. Chaos as bikes scatter in an attempt to run from police. This exclusive video given to us by one of those bikers in the pack. Numerous 911 calls were made reporting that group to police. And on 93 South, troopers spotted them and tried to arrest them on exit 18 ramp. But this video shows most weren't ready to give in. Several tried to get their bikes over the median, one riding on the median for a short time and weaving through traffic to get away. A trooper shot one suspect, a 28-year-old man from Randolph, who is expected to be okay. Some bikes littered the highway, the riders nowhere to be found. Others raced away, bikes and all. Now, when the crowd finally cleared, there was about 20 bikes left behind that they had to have towed. And because that one trooper fired their gun, it's now being investigated by the district attorney. We're live in Boston. Cassie Arsenault, NBC 10 Boston.
So a couple of the newer people in the neighborhood haven't yet got the message yet that down at City Hall, black crime and violence is just a thing, that it's just part of living, the privilege of living in this chocolate city. So cops don't really roll on shoplifting or assaults. It takes something really, really nasty to get a cop to roll into a neighborhood to track down a bunch of kids that are breaking the law, because we all know the only reason they're breaking the law is because of white racism. And no, I'm not kidding in the least about this. Anybody who ever watches one of these city council meetings will know that, because they say it all the time. We shouldn't worry about the crime. We should worry about the conditions that cause crime. The biggest condition afflicting black people in America today is white racism. Why don't you know that? Anyway, a couple of the neighbors got together and they're saying, hey, what's up? They're in the 9th Ward. They do it in the fall. They're back. It's not a safe experience for anybody. There's some other lady got into a little more detail. They don't obey traffic signs or lights. They have surrounded my car with bikes while I was driving. Today I saw 6 of them on my street. They stopped the oncoming traffic and all 5 that followed ran the stop sign. I could not believe my eyes. Now I am seeing more and more of them, and they have four-wheelers too. I understand having fun, but this is not fun. When one gets hit by a car, the ish will hit the fan. Okay, now, here's when we get the people who actually represent the full city about their attitude toward lawbreakers. There's not much you can do. Just let them have fun. Here's a lady named Alice Vandiver. She's on the Don't Mess with Black People for Any Reason Whatsoever committee, even when they're breaking the law, especially when they're breaking the law, because we don't want them to get caught up in the criminal justice system. Because catching black people breaking the law criminalizes black people. Did you get that causality? Catching someone breaking the law causes them to have broken the law 10 minutes before. Yeah, it's kind of a Twilight Zone thing. Anyway, the Wilmington Police Department have done the best they can. And these are not juvenile delinquents that are riding these bikes. Most of them are grown men. Not true. But I have personally seen the Wilmington Police Department at work trapping them. They followed some to a garage a couple years ago and found them that way. So please, quit your bitching about how they are not doing anything. You just don't see it. You live in your little bubble of the city, and it is just not all about you. Ha 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 ha. Okay, you ready for the big solution? The solution that nobody else figured out all over the country when these bikes terrorized people in Miami, San Francisco, Baltimore. Hell, they made a movie about it in Baltimore. They made this huge documentary glorifying the fellas terrorizing Baltimore with motorcycles. So this lady, she kind of got it all figured out. You want to hear what she said? I agree. We have to get the kids involved. I know some folks think, parentheses, Colin, parentheses, that the bad kids should just be punished. Period. I say that many of the kids acting out of fear because they have little guidance and especially need dad figures. That's double G. Also, if they don't feel valued, their own lives seem worthless. Editor's comment. Make a note to myself to double my efforts to outlaw used college sociology books from 40 years ago at the Goodwill stores. They're very dangerous when they get into the wrong hands. Back to this suggestion. In Africa, young elephants go wild when there are no dads around, and that happens with our boys and girls. I've been wondering, here we go, we're getting to the good part. We're getting to the solution here. I've been wondering if communities can work with police to start a bike competition in the neighborhoods. Tweens and teen boys love competition. So remember, we're not talking about bicycles. We're talking about motorcycles, motorized cycles of many different kinds. So here's some ideas about that. The goal would be the neighborhood with the safest bike riders who are also the most helpful would get some grand prize, and you have a bunch of runner-ups. Some ways to do this might be have police give classes on bike safety. Kids who are excited about prizes would promote them. Kids would have group projects to raise money for helmets, bikes, and proper shoes. Bike riding lessons, special practices could be given, even older kids helping the younger ones. A summer would be picked in which records would be kept of which neighborhoods ended up with the fewest bike-related accidents. Also, neighborhood adults would make a point of stopping kids to comment on how well they are doing or remind them of when they are not, but with kindness. Colin's editorial comment. And while you're talking to them, if you're being very nice, you can even say, hey, and could you and your friends also please stop breaking into all the cars up and down our street? I know you walk up and down there every night, checking the car doors, sometimes breaking the windows, but I think I'd rather have you riding your motorcycles around. Back to the rest of this riveting suggestion. We could also catch the kids helping out in neighborhood in some way. All along, adults would be encouraged to act as advocates and spread good news about kids and say a friendly howdy to them, knowing they want positive connection with adults, including boundaries. I think a simple place to start turning things around is having them tend to their playgrounds. When I was a teen, I hung around with the good kids. When I came home from a long summer away, I was shocked to learn they were plotting some illegal mischief. When I asked why, they said they couldn't think of anything to do, that they had run out of creative ideas. That's the Wilmington solution from Marion Humphrey. to this big problem of large groups of black people rampaging through neighborhoods, terrorizing neighborhoods. The problem is not the kids. The problem is we old farts, old fuddy-duddies, the old people that are going out and saying, get off of my lawn. That's the problem. The problem is we don't like it. I mean, I was out there the other day having a cup of coffee with True to Roof right on the front lawn with my cigars. We probably had to stop talking probably 5 or 10 times because of all the bikes that were rampaging around within a block of where we were trying to enjoy a nice relaxing cup of coffee and a nice cigar. Okay, so in that spirit, maybe we should give it a chance, okay? In that spirit, everybody knows I post my address here, correct? So people send me things here, 712 West 26th Street, Wilmington, Delaware, 19802, easy to find on Google Maps. And if you want to see where Bob Marley's mom used to live, just look at my backyard and take a right. There it is. Bam. But that's off the topic. The topic is, how can I get in the spirit of this? How can I stop being the old fuddy-duddy who's always messing with the kids, who's always trying to rain on their parade, who's always trying to ruin their buzz? Games. We play games? Okay, kids. Anybody want to play some Parcheesi? Come on over. Next time you see True to Roof and I out there smoking a cigar, drinking a cup of coffee, watching the world go by, come on by. If you want, bring your own Parcheesi. I got one. I've got one in the attic, I think. We could play Parcheesi or checkers or life. I don't know if anybody's up for a little Scrabble. My brother plays Scrabble. I don't know how my brother and all of his buddies, they're like, there's 4 guys that play Scrabble every weekend. 3 are the worst Scrabble players in the world. They keep losing to the same guy I went to high school with. So we could play Scrabble, Parcheesi, Life. What else is there? Checkers. What am I missing? I mean, there's a lot of games. We could play Yahtzee, play Skittles. All you guys have to do is, leave your little bikes home. Promise you won't do it again. That's all. Park them in the garage till you get old enough to get a license and insurance, old enough to learn how to ride them. What's a mystery to me is, how come of all the dozens and dozens of places where we've reported this happening hundreds and hundreds of times, I just don't understand why these other people in these other cities haven't gotten around to solving the problem that way. Why is that? I mean, in those other places, I don't think any people are all over this thing as much as anybody else. Mostly people just shrug their shoulders and go, oh, hey, Colin, it's a black thing. We white people don't have any right to, get in the middle of that black thing because, well, black people don't really like that much when we do that. I get that. But at the same time, the guys who ride these bikes, remember, they are the criminals. That's what the bikes are used for. I'm not even talking about riding one way down a wrong way street or going up the median or doing this, blowing through stop signs. Not even talking about that. I'm talking hardcore criminal activity that the bike is your tool of getting away. It's a get out of jail free card, because riding one of those bikes in the city of Wilmington when you commit a crime, well, that's one way certainly not to get the black kids angry.